Ladies and gentlemen, at first glance, the concept of the unloved man may stir images of sorrow and loneliness. It brings to mind someone who is isolated, ignored, or perhaps rejected by those around him. In a world that thrives on connection, attention, and love, the figure of the unloved man stands out as someone whose existence seems unnoticed, whose efforts go unacknowledged. His story is often one of quiet struggle, but one that many fail to see or perhaps choose not to understand. The truth, however, is that the unloved man isn't just a figure of loneliness, he is a reflection of a deeper issue that affects many people in society today. We live in an era where external validation has become the marker of one's value. Success is often measured by the number of likes on a post, the number of followers on social media, or the loud applause one receives in a crowd. The louder your presence, the more visible your success, the more you seem to be loved. In this world, it's easy to overlook those who do not seek the limelight, who do not demand the attention of others, and who carry on with their lives in silence. The unloved man is not necessarily someone who is universally rejected or despised. Rather, he is often the person whose work and contributions are taken for granted. He might be a father who quietly works day in and day out, providing for his family without seeking recognition. His sacrifices may go unnoticed, and his efforts may be overshadowed by those who demand more visible forms of affection or recognition. He could also be the employee who consistently performs at a high level, carrying the weight of the team, yet is never praised or given credit for his hard work. These individuals often go unappreciated because they do not seek praise, they do not demand acknowledgement for what they do. Their love and loyalty are often silent, and in a world that prioritizes outward displays of emotion, this silence can easily be mistaken for lack of worth. Yet, it is precisely in this silence that the unloved man often finds his true strength. His value lies not in the validation he receives from others, but in his own inner resolve. While others may crumble under the weight of being unseen, the unloved man continues, driven by a sense of purpose and integrity. His strength comes from within. He does not seek approval, yet he persists. He understands that his worth is not tied to the fleeting applause of the crowd, but to his ability to do what is right and necessary, even when no one is watching. There is a deeper lesson we can learn from the unloved man. We often assume that love is something that must be earned or displayed in overt ways through gifts, attention, or grand gestures. But perhaps true love is quieter. It is in the actions that go unnoticed, in the commitments that require no recognition, in the sacrifices made without fanfare. The unloved man teaches us that love is not always about being seen or heard. It is about being steadfast, even when the world around you fails to acknowledge your presence. In many ways, the unloved man is misunderstood. He may seem distant, perhaps even withdrawn, but this is often a defense mechanism in response to years of being overlooked. His love is there, it just may not be expressed in ways we expect. We need to recognize that the unloved man carries within him a quiet, unshakable strength, a strength that comes not from seeking love, but from knowing that love exists in forms that transcend attention and applause. So, the next time we encounter someone who seems unloved or unseen, let us not rush to pity them. Instead, let us acknowledge their inner resilience, their quiet love, and the unspoken contributions they make to the world around them. For in the end, it is not the loudest voices or the most visible acts that define a person's worth. It is the strength of character, the loyalty, and the unyielding dedication that often go unnoticed, yet are the most valuable of all. This version expands the speech into a more detailed narrative, emphasizing the quiet strength of the unloved man and the importance of recognizing value beyond external validation. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments. At first, the phrase "the unloved man" may evoke pity or sympathy. We might picture an individual who is isolated, ignored, or rejected by those around him. Perhaps we imagine someone who struggles with the pain of not being appreciated or valued. Yet, upon closer examination, the idea of the unloved man reveals a much deeper and more complex narrative, one that speaks not only to isolation, but to resilience, self-worth, and the often overlooked power of quiet determination. In a world that seems to demand constant validation, we place an overwhelming amount of emphasis on external approval. Whether through social media likes, public acknowledgement, or the praise of peers, our society has created an environment where love and value are often equated with visibility. The louder you are, the more attention you get. The more attention you get, the more love you receive. In this dynamic, those who are less visible, less loud, or less demanding of validation can easily be overlooked. And in this sea of noise, the unloved man often finds himself forgotten, his efforts unappreciated, his worth unrecognized. But the truth is that the unloved man is not simply someone who is hated or rejected. He is often someone who works tirelessly day after day without seeking anything in return. He is the man who silently provides for his family, ensuring their needs are met while never asking for recognition or praise. His sacrifices are made behind closed doors, and because he does not demand acknowledgement, his contributions can easily go unnoticed. He might be the worker who consistently shows up, exceeds expectations, and helps others without fanfare, but whose efforts are rarely seen or appreciated by those around him. He could also be a friend who offers loyalty and support, yet whose kindness is often taken for granted. What sets the unloved man apart is not his lack of love, but the quiet strength he exhibits in the absence of recognition. Unlike many who might crumble under the weight of being overlooked, the unloved man persists. His sense of worth does not come from external sources but from his own internal resolve. He understands that love is not always loud, and value is not always given in the form of applause. His worth is measured by the depth of his character, the integrity with which he lives his life, and his unwavering commitment to doing what is right even when no one is watching. In a world obsessed with immediate validation and public approval, the unloved man teaches us a powerful lesson. His life shows us that love and value are not always tied to outward displays of affection. In fact, the most meaningful expressions of love are often the quiet, invisible ones, those that come in the form of acts of service, sacrifice, and dedication. These forms of love are not flashy, nor are they celebrated in public, but they are no less powerful. The unloved man does not need recognition to validate his existence. He lives in alignment with his values, trusting that his actions speak louder than words. Perhaps it is time we reevaluate our understanding of love. We often associate love with grand gestures or visible affection. However, true love is often demonstrated in the smallest, most ordinary acts. The unloved man teaches us that love doesn't always need to be seen to be real. It can exist in the quiet moments of life, in the unwavering dedication to others, and in the strength to continue even when the world seems indifferent. So, let us not pity the unloved man. Instead, let us learn from him. Let us recognize the quiet strength of those who go unnoticed, and let us appreciate the love that exists in the shadows, away from the spotlight. For it is this quiet love, this unacknowledged devotion, that truly shapes the world around us. The unloved man may be unseen, but his impact is felt in ways that cannot be measured by the applause of others. It is a love that endures, a love that strengthens, and a love that, in the end, makes all the difference. This version of the speech is expanded to provide more depth and detail while emphasizing the quiet resilience of the unloved man and how his contributions are often undervalued. Let me know if you'd like further edits. The figure of the unloved man is often misunderstood. At first, we may think of him as a person who is simply alone, ignored, or neglected by society. His existence seems unimportant, his efforts invisible, and his life appears to lack the connections or affection that others may receive. But beneath this surface perception, the story of the unloved man is much more nuanced and meaningful than it first appears. In reality, the unloved man represents a much larger societal issue, the ways in which we value or fail to value those who do not seek attention, who live quietly, and whose strength is found not in external validation but in internal fortitude. In today's world, there is a prevailing belief that success, happiness, and worth are all measured by the amount of attention one receives. Social media culture only amplifies this idea, with validation coming in the form of likes, comments, and shares. Popular culture often celebrates the loudest voices, the most extravagant gestures, and the individuals who constantly put themselves in the spotlight. In this environment, it becomes easy to overlook those who do not actively seek the spotlight, who do not demand recognition for their hard work, and who go through life without the applause of others. The unloved man is often a victim of this societal shift. However, the true strength of the unloved man lies not in his desire for recognition, but in his perseverance. He is the person who shows up every day, does what needs to be done, and does so without expecting anything in return. Whether he is a father quietly providing for his children, a worker giving his best without seeking acknowledgement, or a friend offering support when others don't even realize it is needed, the unloved man carries on because he understands something very important. Love and worth do not always come from others. His actions speak for him, and his integrity and commitment are the bedrock of his character. The unloved man does not need validation from the world because he has learned to validate himself. His value is not determined by how many people recognize him, but by how he treats others and the quiet strength he brings to every situation. This internal validation is far more powerful and enduring than the temporary praise that others may offer. In fact, it is in his ability to continue on despite being unseen or unnoticed that the unloved man reveals his true worth. His love is not loud, but it is steady, constant, and unwavering. Too often we make the mistake of thinking that love must be loud to be meaningful. Society tells us that love must be grand, it must be shown with dramatic gestures or grand acts. We forget that love can also be subtle, unspoken, and steady. It can be found in the small, everyday actions that go unnoticed, the sacrifices made for the benefit of others, the loyalty that is offered without expectation, the support given in times of need without seeking anything in return. The unloved man embodies this quiet love. His love does not demand recognition. It simply exists in the background, constantly shaping the world around him. What the unloved man teaches us is that we all have the capacity to love without needing to be loved in return. We can all contribute to the world in meaningful ways, even if those contributions are not immediately acknowledged or celebrated. The unloved man reminds us that true worth is found in the actions we take and the integrity we uphold, regardless of whether anyone notices. His life may seem unnoticed, but it is filled with value, with quiet acts of love and service that ripple out and affect the lives of others, even if those effects are not immediately apparent. In the end, the unloved man is a figure not of pity but of respect. His quiet strength, his ability to persist without recognition, and his unwavering commitment to doing what is right offer us a profound lesson in resilience, in self-worth, and in the true meaning of love. His impact on the world may be invisible, but it is no less powerful, and it is a reminder that sometimes the greatest acts of love and the strongest individuals are those who do not ask for recognition at all. Let us not forget the unloved man, for in him lies a model of strength and love that transcends visibility, offering a quiet but enduring legacy of love in action. This version of the speech provides a more detailed reflection on the value and resilience of the unloved man, emphasizing the importance of internal validation and quiet acts of love. Let me know if you'd like any further changes. When we think of the unloved man, we often imagine someone who is struggling with rejection, someone whose life feels barren of affection, attention, or companionship. It's easy to fall into the trap of assuming that this figure is defined solely by loneliness, perhaps even marked by despair. Yet this view of the unloved man is only one part of a much more complex and powerful narrative. In truth, the unloved man is not simply someone who lacks affection from others. Instead, he embodies something much deeper: a quiet strength, an inner resilience, and an understanding of his own worth that does not depend on external validation. In a world that thrives on connection and social bonds, where our value is often measured by the love and attention we receive from others, the unloved man stands in stark contrast to these ideals. Our culture has come to view love as something that must be visible, loud, and demonstrative. Social media, reality television, and even popular culture teach us that affection must be expressed in public and recognized by others to be deemed meaningful. Likes, comments, and the constant need for external affirmation have become a standard for measuring success and worth. The louder we are, the more attention we receive, the more attention we get, the more we seem to be loved. But the unloved man does not chase attention. He does not demand the recognition or praise that others might crave. Instead, he focuses on what truly matters to him: his principles, his commitments, and the quiet work that he does in the world. Whether he is a father who works tirelessly to support his family, a colleague who takes on difficult tasks without complaint, or a friend who remains loyal even when it goes unnoticed, the unloved man does his work without the expectation of reward. His love is not contingent on receiving something in return. He understands that the most valuable things in life often come in forms that cannot be seen or measured by others. The unloved man may seem invisible to those around him, but this invisibility is not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, a testament to his strength. His actions do not require the applause of others, and his sense of self-worth is not dependent on external praise. He knows that true love, the kind that endures, is not always loud or flashy. It can be quiet, subtle, and steady. It exists in the small sacrifices, the quiet acts of service, and the ongoing commitment to doing what is right, even when no one is watching. His ability to continue on despite being unnoticed speaks volumes about his character and resilience. We should not pity the unloved man, but rather honor him. His ability to persist, to give love without needing it in return, is something rare and beautiful. In a society that often prioritizes instant gratification and visible success, the unloved man stands as a reminder that there is value in doing the right thing, even if it goes unseen. He teaches us that love is not always about recognition or reward. Sometimes love is about the quiet, everyday actions that sustain relationships, communities, and the very fabric of society. The unloved man also challenges us to rethink our own understanding of worth. How often do we tie our sense of value to the attention and affection we receive from others? How often do we overlook the quiet contributions made by those who do not seek recognition? The unloved man teaches us that our worth is not defined by external applause, but by the integrity and strength of our actions, no matter how small or unnoticed they may seem. In the end, the unloved man embodies a powerful lesson. He shows us that love is not always about being seen or heard. It is about being steadfast, reliable, and dedicated to what matters most. His love is a quiet force, one that may not demand attention, but which shapes the world in profound ways. So, let us not overlook or pity the unloved man. Instead, let us recognize the strength and resilience he carries, and let us learn from his quiet example of love in action. This expanded version delves deeper into the concept of the unloved man, emphasizing his inner strength, resilience, and quiet love. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments. When we think of the unloved man, we often imagine someone who is struggling with rejection, someone whose life feels barren of affection, attention, or companionship. It's easy to fall into the trap of assuming that this figure is defined solely by loneliness, perhaps even marked by despair. Yet this view of the unloved man is only one part of a much more complex and powerful narrative. In truth, the unloved man is not simply someone who lacks affection from others. Instead, he embodies something much deeper: a quiet strength, an inner resilience, and an understanding of his own worth that does not depend on external validation. In a world that thrives on connection and social bonds, where our value is often measured by the love and attention we receive from others, the unloved man stands in stark contrast to these ideals. Our culture has come to view love as something that must be visible, loud, and demonstrative. Social media, reality television, and even popular culture teach us that affection must be expressed in public and recognized by others to be deemed meaningful. Likes, comments, and the constant need for external affirmation have become a standard for measuring success and worth. The louder we are, the more attention we receive. The more attention we get, the more we seem to be loved. But the unloved man does not chase attention. He does not demand the recognition or praise that others might crave. Instead, he focuses on what truly matters to him: his principles, his commitments, and the quiet work that he does in the world. Whether he is a father who works tirelessly to support his family, a colleague who takes on difficult tasks without complaint, or a friend who remains loyal even when it goes unnoticed, the unloved man does his work without the expectation of reward. His love is not contingent on receiving something in return. He understands that the most valuable things in life often come in forms that cannot be seen or measured by others. The unloved man may seem invisible to those around him, but this invisibility is not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, a testament to his strength. His actions do not require the applause of others, and his sense of self-worth is not dependent on external praise. He knows that true love, the kind that endures, is not always loud or flashy. It can be quiet, subtle, and steady. It exists in the small sacrifices, the quiet acts of service, and the ongoing commitment to doing what is right, even when no one is watching. His ability to continue on despite being unnoticed speaks volumes about his character and resilience. We should not pity the unloved man, but rather honor him. His ability to persist, to give love without needing it in return, is something rare and beautiful. In a society that often prioritizes instant gratification and visible success, the unloved man stands as a reminder that there is value in doing the right thing, even if it goes unseen. He teaches us that love is not always about recognition or reward. Sometimes love is about the quiet, everyday actions that sustain relationships, communities, and the very fabric of society. The unloved man also challenges us to rethink our own understanding of worth. How often do we tie our sense of value to the attention and affection we receive from others? How often do we overlook the quiet contributions made by those who do not seek recognition? The unloved man teaches us that our worth is not defined by external applause, but by the integrity and strength of our actions, no matter how small or unnoticed they may seem. In the end, the unloved man embodies a powerful lesson. He shows us that love is not always about being seen or heard. It is about being steadfast, reliable, and dedicated to what matters most. His love is a quiet force, one that may not demand attention, but which shapes the world in profound ways. So let us not overlook or pity the unloved man. Instead, let us recognize the strength and resilience he carries, and let us learn from his quiet example of love in action. This expanded version delves deeper into the concept of the unloved man, emphasizing his inner strength, resilience, and quiet love. Let me know if you'd like further adjustments. The concept of the unloved man is a difficult one for many to contemplate. It evokes a sense of sadness or pity, often conjuring images of someone abandoned or rejected. The unloved man is frequently viewed through a lens of isolation and neglect, and society tends to feel sympathy for those who seem to be overlooked or ignored by the world. But perhaps in examining this figure more closely, we can uncover a deeper, more powerful narrative, one that speaks to the strength of character, the quiet resilience, and the unspoken love that exists in the lives of those who are not seen by the majority. At the heart of this story is the realization that being unloved does not necessarily mean a lack of worth. In a world that prizes external validation and applause, we often forget that love comes in many forms. The unloved man may not receive the affection or recognition that many others enjoy, but this does not diminish his value. In fact, it is often in the absence of external validation that the unloved man finds his true strength. His worth is not based on the accolades he receives, but on the integrity with which he lives his life, the quiet love he shows to those around him, and the perseverance he demonstrates when the world seems indifferent to his presence. The unloved man may be someone who performs his duties diligently without expecting recognition. He may be a father who works tirelessly to provide for his family, yet never asks for a thank you or acknowledgement. He could be an employee who shows up every day, goes above and beyond, yet his contributions are overlooked. He may be a friend who gives his time and energy without expecting anything in return. While others around him may seek attention, praise, or validation, the unloved man operates quietly, doing what needs to be done without fanfare. This quiet strength is one of the most remarkable aspects of the unloved man. His sense of worth is not contingent on whether others notice or applaud him. He understands that love and value are not always measured by the attention or affection of others. Instead, he derives his strength from an internal source, his sense of duty, his principles, and his belief in doing the right thing even when it goes unnoticed. The unloved man does not require recognition because he is already secure in his own identity. His worth is intrinsic. It is not dependent on the approval or validation of others. In a world that often elevates those who seek the spotlight, the unloved man serves as a reminder that true value does not lie in visibility or public acknowledgement. Sometimes the greatest acts of love and strength come from those who do not seek attention. The unloved man shows us that love is not always loud or extravagant. It is often subtle, consistent, and steady. His love exists in his actions, the work he does, the loyalty he offers, and the support he provides to those who need it most. These actions, though unnoticed by many, have a lasting impact on the world. The unloved man teaches us an important lesson about worth and recognition. He reminds us that we do not have to be the loudest or most visible to make a difference in the world. His contributions, though invisible, are invaluable. His strength, perseverance, and quiet dedication to his values are the foundation of his worth. The unloved man does not seek praise, yet he often has the greatest impact on those around him. His love, though unseen, shapes the lives of others in ways that can never truly be measured. So let us not pity the unloved man. Instead, let us recognize the quiet power he holds. Let us learn from his example of resilience and quiet love, and let us appreciate the contributions of those who, though unnoticed by many, make the world a better place through their steadfast commitment and unwavering integrity. This expanded version emphasizes the strength and quiet resilience of the unloved man, highlighting the value of internal validation and love that is not always seen or recognized. Let me know if you'd like further changes or adjustments. The images in the unloved man is often clouded by assumptions and misconceptions. We are quick to label him as a figure of sadness or pity, someone whose life is lacking in affection, connection, or recognition. Society as a whole tends to view love as something that must be visible, something that must be expressed through grand gestures and public displays. In this framework, the unloved man seems to have been forgotten or discarded by the world. But perhaps what we fail to realize is that the unloved man is not necessarily someone who is devoid of love or affection. Rather, he is a person who understands love differently, a person whose value lies not in how the world sees him, but in the quiet strength, dedication, and self-awareness he carries within himself. In a world that often measures worth by visibility, the unloved man appears to be out of place. We live in a society where external validation is highly sought after. Social media, fame, and recognition have become modern currencies of affection and self-worth. We have come to expect that love must be expressed in large, dramatic ways through gifts, attention, or applause. The louder we are, the more we attract others, and the more we seem to be loved. In contrast, the unloved man is often invisible to others because he does not seek the spotlight. He does not demand the attention or recognition that many others seek. His love is not shouted from the rooftops, it is lived in the quiet moments, in the steady commitment to his principles, and in the actions that shape his relationships. It is important to recognize that the unloved man is not simply someone who lacks affection. Rather, he is often the individual whose efforts go unnoticed, whose sacrifices are made without expectation of reward or acknowledgement. He may be a father working tirelessly to provide for his family, an employee who continually exceeds expectations yet receives no praise, or a friend who always offers support without ever asking for anything in return. These actions, though invisible to many, are filled with value. The unloved man shows us that love does not have to be loud or extravagant to be real. Sometimes the most meaningful acts of love are the quiet, selfless ones, those that go unnoticed but shape the lives of others in profound ways. The unloved man also teaches us a powerful lesson about self-worth. In a world where the loudest voices often get the most attention, it is easy to forget that true worth does not come from external validation. The unloved man understands that his value is not determined by the opinions or recognition of others. He does not need the applause of the world to know his worth. His sense of self comes from within. It is rooted in his commitment to doing what is right, in his unwavering integrity, and in his quiet love that is always present, even when unseen. What sets the unloved man apart is his ability to continue, despite being overlooked or even misunderstood. He does not seek validation, yet he persists. His strength is found not in the recognition he receives, but in his ability to stay true to his values and in the quiet, steady way he moves through life. In this, he reveals a different kind of love, the kind of love that does not need to be recognized to be meaningful. It is love that sustains, strengthens, and endures even when it is not immediately visible. So let us stop pitying the unloved man and start recognizing the quiet power he holds. Let us learn from him that love is not always about being seen or heard. It is about staying true to who you are, offering your love and loyalty without needing anything in return, and finding strength in the quiet moments when no one is watching. The unloved man may seem invisible to the world, but his impact is lasting, shaping the lives of those around him in ways that cannot be measured by applause or accolades. It is time we acknowledge his strength, and in doing so, we may just discover a deeper, more meaningful kind of love. This expanded version delves deeper into the unloved man concept, emphasizing how he embodies quiet strength, self-worth, and love that does not depend on recognition. Let me know if you'd like further revisions or adjustments.